We are live. Where we got listeners yet? No.
No.
Oh, zero. Look,
Give it
the
10
big
minutes,
zero.
20
10
minutes.
minutes.
10
I'll
minutes.
just start
Fuck
that countdown.
Yeah. Yeah, do the
He might be able to get through all of it this time.
You're lagging, Steven.
Oh, your lag is
Bad.
bad, dude.
Is it really?
It
Oh
was.
man,
It
I don't want to
was.
switch on the other one. Okay. Starting my watch party.
Watch PRT.
Isn't that what you do? A watch party?
I just share it. I don't do a watch party.
Okay. Oh, Steven's here for us, as usual.
That's huge. The huge.
Appreciate your shout out on your podcast, Steven.
What's his podcast again?
It is the BCPL public. It's the Bay County Public Library podcast where
Okay.
him and his co-host they talk about they talk about books, and that's considering it's the public library podcast, but they also segue into a lot of pop culture stuff. They
nice.
talk about movies and TV shows. It's really
cool.
cool.
He's your friend that we want to get on the show at least once.
Yeah. I had the
Sometime soon.
idea of possibly bringing him on for an episode where we talk about either movies
movies.
Right, like our favorite film adaptations of books, or books that we would like to see adapted into. Well, we just lost Steven as a listener and viewer.
Well, that was that.
Yeah.
All right.
Good job, B.
Here all week. All right. Let's do a little countdown and then we'll get started, my friends.
Sounds good.
Here we go. We went all the way through the countdown.
I took a nap.
I had to cough a little bit. But okay, here we go. Welcome to the Screen Addicts podcast. Thank you for joining us tonight. And as always, I am one of your hosts, Chris. Give him the old razzle-dazzle, Viegas.
I am Universal Stevio's Florida Sosa.
I'm Jeremy, and I prefer IPAs to the fruity beer.
Dude, you don't know what you're missing out on. This is what I'm drinking on tonight. For all my Amarillo people, Pondicetta has a new sour out called Razzle Dazzle. It's raspberries and cream imperial sour ale, and it's 8.2 ABV. So by the end of this beer, it's going to be fun.
And if any of our listeners haven't picked up, we are being sponsored by Razzle Dazzle for tonight's episode.
Yes, Razzle Dazzle. How are you fellas doing, man?
Oh, man, I am so tired. I am still on vacation brain, and I'm going to be talking about our trip later on in the episode because it is heavily embedded into what we do on this podcast, which is share our admiration for film and television.
Nice. Cool. Jeremy, how you been doing, man? How you holding up? You still in quarantine mode, brother?
Dude, I'm on furlough. I've been on furlough. I don't know if I'll ever be off furlough.
Hey, you know what? You will. We got to think positive, my friend. Shit's gonna turn around and we'll get back on there. We'll get back to the regularly scheduled program here pretty soon, my friend. But until then, we have the Screen Addicts podcast to make us feel a little normal. Yeah. So, anyways, it's been a minute since we have recorded. Steven has been on vacation, and he is going to be telling us a little bit about his trip. But the reason we going to listen about his trip is because, he went on his trip and it got us to thinking. Our main topic tonight is what movie? You know how movies always turn into like some sort of roller coaster or big ride at amusement parks? What movies would you like to see as a ride at a theme park? So we're gonna briefly hit on that here later, but as always, we're gonna get started now. As what we've been watching the last couple of weeks. And Jeremy, my friend, what do you have?
Well, I don't got much this week. I haven't been watching much of anything besides football and crying over my fantasy team. But anyway, I watched The Trial of the Chicago 7, Aaron Sorkin's directorial debut. He wrote and directed it. It's really, really good. It's Aaron Sorkin at Aaron Sorkin's best, doing courtroom dramas. And really, that's all that movie is. It starts out first day of the trial, first 2 minutes of the movie, and just keeps going from there. And flashes back occasionally. And he has a very Kevin Smith style of filmmaking, I've noticed. He likes to just film two people talking. That's the Sorkin filmmaking style I've seen so far. Nice. Other than that, besides football, I really don't have anything.
All right. I just want you to know, I want our listeners to know that I am the Screen Addicts fantasy football champ this year, which I shouldn't be
so far
because they kind of screwed Jeremy in our game, didn't they, Jeremy? A little bit. They didn't do no stat corrections.
No. Man, he was waiting on them too.
I won by like half a point or something like that. Yeah. It's a sore subject. If you could see Jeremy's face right now, it's a little red. But it's all right.
I've come to accept where I belong in our league. I screwed up in the draft. It's my fault, so I deserve it.
It's all right. You will come back next year better than ever, my friend.
Yeah, I learned from my mistakes.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Let me see what I've been watching. So, as I've said before, I'm not like Steven to where I can watch one thing, get through half of it, and pick up another thing. When I get committed, and I have to finish it. From start to finish, I have to go. So this last week, I have gone through all 5 seasons of Hanging with Mr. Cooper on Hulu. Oh, man, and let me tell you.
Didn't you watch that back in the 90s?
I think I watched a little bit of it. I never watched it fully all the way through.
Yeah.
And now I know why. you really don't have to watch it. There's no the story doesn't keep going on. It's a new episode, new things happen every freaking week, and it's just crazy. It's not until the very last season that actually stuff finally ties together with everything, and that's with Mark Curry, and his co-star from the beginning. The character's name is Vanessa. They finally end up getting engaged and getting married and all of that.
Spoilers, Chris.
Oh, dude, it's Hanging with Mr. Cooper. I mean,
spoilers, really?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it at this point,
it was a joke, Jeremy. It's a sitcom. It's almost like
And
every
then-
main character has to get married or something.
Yeah.
And so then last night I finished it, right? But I'm laying in bed, and the way it finishes, I didn't know it finished. Like, they don't even end with the actual wedding. They still are planning the wedding when they end the show. And so the only way that you know it's the end is at the very end, after credit scenes. They come on, Mark Cooper comes on and says, "Hey, thank you for spending 5 years with me, 5 seasons. It's been a fun show. We're out." And then it's over.
That tells me that they were probably canceled
Mhm.
ahead of schedule, or they
Uh-huh.
probably anticipated another season and just at the last minute pulled the plug on them. So I mean, because
Or the ratings for that last season was so low that they was just like, you know
It
what,
could have
we're
been
done.
everything.
but that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean they got canceled. So and they probably just didn't know that it was coming.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's another disappointing end to a series. There seems to be a lot of those type of endings where they kind of suck when series get you sucked in. Me and Tosh are still plugging away at Melrose. That show's gone off the deep end. My God, it's crazy. And then we also we started Veronica Mars, dude. And that's not bad. When Tasha started it, I didn't know it was over. The story was through a high school girl. I thought she was an adult, but no, she's in high school trying to solve these missing persons or crimes or whatever, which is kind of weird, but all right, we'll go with it. We were only like 3 or 4 episodes in, so that'll work. Also, I watched this movie on Netflix, okay? My cousin, Gabriel Villegas, he is in OSU now. He's first semester of college of OSU, and he's pledging to this fraternity. Okay, and he recommends this movie to me on Netflix called Burning Sands. And it is a movie about what people go through hazing to get into a fraternity. And man, they messed these guys up. They kicking them and spitting on them, and they put them through hell, which probably isn't far off from reality. You know, there's no hazing laws, of course, but you know that shit's underground and it happens still because that's just the way the world is in fraternity land or whatever, you know. But let me tell you, this effing movie, okay, it's a decent movie. It's not bad. But then it just ends. And it's one of those endings to where I guess the director or whoever wrote it is like, okay, it's one of these movies that you figure out how you want it to end. You just play it out how you want it to. And those piss me off, dude, because I want you to tell me the story. I want you to wrap this up and tell me how it ended. I want you to tell me how this guy ended up. Like, it doesn't even finish the story if he made it in the fraternity or not. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst ending to a movie in the history of movies.
It has that ending that you just make it up in your own brain, and however you want it to end, that's how it ends.
I don't like those choose your own adventure bullshit. I
hate it. Wrap it up for me.
I agree.
That's what I came to you for, is for a story.
Well, then complain to Christopher Nolan about all of his ambiguous endings.
I wouldn't say that all of his are as ambiguous. Inception is probably the one that is still kind of did it end type of a deal. But Burning Sands, I absolutely forgot about that until you just talked about it, Chris. But yeah, it was pretty good. I watched it when it came out, and from what I can remember from it, you know, it was pretty graphic, like with the
Yeah.
like the sex and stuff. I was like, holy crap, this is pretty graphic.
In the beginning, I was letting Maddox watch it, and then like 10 minutes in, I'm like, nah, dude, you need to go to your room.
Yeah,
No,
with the guy and his girlfriend in his dorm room. I was like, wow, that was pretty explicit.
And then the roommate comes in, and she's like, ugh. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, dude, that room probably stinks like sex so bad. Why are you in there? Like, leave. It stinks. Ugh. And the dude probably hasn't showered. I mean, he's a college kid, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's just so gross. I was like, okay, no, Maddox.
You had to take a shower after watching it, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. But, yeah, that's probably the last recommendation of a movie I'm going to take from my cousin. Because that ending, dude, it pissed me off. Wrap it up. You need 5 more minutes. Wrap it up. That's it. 5 minutes, wrap up the story, and we're good.
Because it's not a long movie either.
No,
it's like maybe 90 minutes, if I recall. It's a short movie.
Yeah.
Quick little Netflix original.
Yeah, when you don't have an ending to a movie that friggin' short, why even make the movie?
That's what Chris is claiming.
Exactly,
you know, it's like
dude.
it's not like something, something that, like, you brought up Christopher Nolan, which is a complex Rubik's Cube of a plot. It's just it's just a college movie, hazy, for fraternity rights. Yeah, that's funny.
So of course, I am staying week to week on The Mandalorian.
I still need to watch that.
Like the new season or all together?
Oh, the new one.
Oh, okay, good. I was all like, I know you've watched the.
Yeah, we talked about the first season and length.
Yeah.
Yes.
I still haven't started it yet. So
it's good. Dude, Baby Yoda he's getting more into the action, and it's freaking hilarious. And it's like, and this right here, the moment, Tasha, my wife, the hater of all sci-fi, everything sci-fi, is into The Mandalorian, guys.
Yeah.
It's Baby Yoda, isn't it?
It's Baby Yoda. I mean,
of course.
I shed a tear when she said, I like it. And we watched all the first season in one day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's taken me 20 years, but I have finally brought her over.
Oh, yeah.
So
this will be the only one, though.
Oh, yeah. She asked, she goes, well, since I like this, would I like any of the movies? No.
No, you should have said yes. They're just as good as this.
You should have said yes.
You hate her. You put her in.
You had her on the hook.
I know her already. Like, she may like the original 3, but other than that, no.
Yeah.
She's done. But other than that, and then I finished hanging with Mr. Cooper, so I need something new. So I tried Workaholics. I got 3 episodes into that, and I'm like, that's more of a Jeremy show.
It's actually more of a me show because I watched every episode.
I'm not even
of that
really
stuff.
a big fan.
No,
I
tried it.
It reminds me of Grandma's Boy, like really bad.
And Jeremy, I am surprised that you don't really care for Workaholics. It is. I see what Chris means though. Like, and Chris, it's funny because I'll watch a show where I think Jeremy will love it, and either he just doesn't watch it, or because I think that's more or less it. Like, you'll recommend something to him and he won't watch it, but
he's got to watch it on his own.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know what the Workaholics thing is. It reminds me too much of my time at Hastings and AIG.
Yeah, it has a very Office Space-esque, dynamic
Absolutely.
to it. But man, I love that show. I love the side characters to it too. And as a matter of fact, I heard that they're coming back to do like another mini season of it. Really? So yeah, that should be interesting.
All right, so I guess I should give it some more episodes.
I mean,
I like through 3, and I'm like,
I mean, if you're not into it, because it doesn't really progress or more or less than what it is. I mean, it pretty much stays consistent to what those first 3 are. There's nothing, no major dynamics take place. It's just you either
Gotcha.
like it or you don't, you know.
Okay. So instead of continuing with that, I started. Oh shit, dude! I started season 1, episode 1 of Married with Children.
Yes. Okay. That's a good one.
So I'm about 6 episodes into the first season.
I was about to say, why haven't you done the entire like series yet?
Oh, I you know, I can honestly say I've only watched ever in my lifetime like a handful of episodes ever.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. And so this is what I'm on.
Shit's been on rerun for years.
I used to watch that with my mom.
Your mom?
Oh, she loved it, man. She loved that.
Oh, that's funny. So this is what my next mission will be, to finish Married with Children. So I will keep you updated on that.
You know, something Married with Children is a show. Watching it today seems kind of refreshing because there's no way it could ever be made today. It's so politically incorrect. And I think that's what's good about it, is like it didn't have any fear in taking a you know, just jokes back then. Even with comedians back in the 90s, they didn't care, man. They would just go for it all, and that's what we love them for. That's why they're so revered.
It's your typical 90s brash sitcom.
Well, it was on Fox too.
Awesome.
So Fox was really pushing the boundaries as far as like content, you know, and I mean, yeah, they had Melrose Place, all those shows too. So I love Married with Children.
So that's my next mission, fellas. So I'll keep you updated on my Married with Children journey. Because you know what I almost started, Steven? I was almost like you, brother.
What is that?
X-Files.
I don't know, Chris. I don't know, man. You go ahead. I'm finally on season 9 of 11. And it's just it's kind of those later years where Mulder and Scully weren't there. It just kind of, man, that set me back because I just didn't really care as much. And you know, they'll show up in random episodes, and it's just like, no, I need them every week. But I don't know. It's pretty. That's a long journey to go down.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. So
via con Dios.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's it for me, man. I actually had some shit I watched, so I'm sorry I took up some time.
No, man, that's good.
Steven,
good job.
It is your turn, my friend.
And you know what? To be honest with you guys, with
he's been on vacation.
I've been on vacation, so I didn't have as much as you'd think, but I will go into a couple that I'd like to talk about. Of course, we had a guest on our last episode, Kevin, where we were talking about the fantasy football. So it wasn't a traditional episode where we were talking about movies and stuff that we'd watched then, because that's usually the time when we would have covered our Halloween movies that we watched. And I didn't watch any new Halloween movies except for 2 that I wanted to talk about. One was Hubie Halloween, the Adam Sandler Netflix movie.
I'm still going to watch that.
I will say it felt a little bit more of a traditional Sandler, like one that we are more prone to watching and enjoying, you know.
It's from the director of Little Nicky.
Well, Stephen Brill also did a couple of his other ones. Like Little Nicky wasn't his only one that he did, but there were some really nice cameos in it that I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And overall, as far as Netflix Sandler goes, yeah, that's his best one that he's done for Netflix. Not that the bar was set all that high.
But it's like down at the very, very bottom rung.
So really, he just had to like step over it more than lift it, and he did, and it's okay. The only other really new Halloween movie that I wanted to talk about was the Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo movie that just came out. And it was actually really good. It was funny. It felt like a traditional Scooby-Doo movie while introducing some new concepts. Elvira was in it. And get this, man, Scarecrow, DC Jonathan Crane's Scarecrow is a character in this movie. And it was awesome. I was like, what? Scarecrow. And they enlist his help, and he kind of course, he's the Scarecrow. He's a bad guy. He doesn't want to help him, but you know he does, because No one wants to deny the Scooby Gang, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. Oh, I did get my Battlefield Earth on Blu-ray special edition. Rewatched it.
Rat brain.
I'm sticking with it, man. I like it. I still enjoy it. I get it. I get exactly what they're talking about, and the behind the features were really nice on it too, because they talked about the Stephen Eford said I loved Hubie Halloween more than I should have, and that's a pretty good critique, because I feel like I felt that way too. I was like, man, this am I laughing at this? Yeah, I guess I am. I guess it is funny. But but back to Battlefield Earth. It looked great on Blu-ray. It looked better. Man, those effects, even for 2000, were they spent like what $200 million making that movie, which therefore made it the biggest flop in history when it only made like 5 million. But that's okay. I watched this movie called Prospect, which has the Mandalorian actor in it as well, and it was a nice little science fiction film on Hulu. Not too bad. I didn't realize that with my new purchase of an iPhone with Xfinity Mobile, I get Apple Plus for free for a whole year. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So I started going down there. I was watching the Bruce Springsteen documentary about his new album. That was great. Tom Hanks is in that movie Greyhound, where he's the naval captain, and it's a nice little 90-minute action war movie. I highly recommend.
He's the captain again.
He's the captain now again. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Not bad.
Oh, Chris, I watched that American Murder, The Family Next Door on Netflix. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I watched probably the last half.
Okay. That if you picked it, you'll pick up everything so far. So this guy comes home, or this woman's like trying to reach her best friend. She's not home, and her 2 kids aren't home, and her husband comes home, and they don't know where she is, and it becomes this big mystery, I guess, as to what happened to him. And it was just, wow, it was pretty shocking. But yeah, I recommend that one for fans of true crime docuseries. Watch the new Russell Crowe movie Unhinged, where he definitely becomes unhinged.
How is that?
It's not bad. Again, it's 90 minutes, and I guess with credits, it's like 85 minutes. And I didn't really know what to expect from it, but yeah, he just plays this guy that starts stalking this woman on the road. He's completely lost it. Some of the scenes in it are kind of jaw-dropping because I didn't expect them to be so shocking. And I was like, holy shit, this is pretty intense. But yeah, I recommend it. It's kind of like Phone Booth. You know, you kind of can watch it at least once just to kind of see what's going to happen. And
I like Phone Booth.
Yeah, I did too. Finished up some television series, Devs, the Alex Garland FX miniseries that he did. It was good. I'm kind of glad. I hope it's a one and done, because I don't really want to revisit it. And the way that it ended, it felt like it's just kind of a one-time miniseries. Future Man on Hulu, finished that. That last few episodes weren't great, but it finished strong. Me and Madison started Saved by the Bell, the college years, the Superior Saved by the Bell series. You know,
I was about to say that's my favorite.
I'm just kidding. I do like it. I think it's great. I loved it then. Watching it now, yeah, the jokes are a little difficult at times to get through, just because they're so bad. You know, it's just like, God, it's like a 5th grader wrote some of these jokes. But and me and Connor started. Yeah, they probably did. And me and Connor started another series, which is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the popular Andy Samberg NBC cop series. Super funny. It's from the producers of The Office, Parks and Rec, and 30, just like all those shows. So it's like, if you like them, you'll like this. Very much the same. But yeah, I guess that's really all I had for right now. Like I said, we were on vacation, and
hey, let's not forget what you have started. I think you said you started.
Oh yes, I'm so sorry. I didn't make a note. Yes, I did start on a suggestion from brother Chris here, All American on the CW. And I will say, I'm only on episode, I guess, 6. I'm still early in on the first season. And man, I gotta know, Chris, is Spencer, and is Taye Diggs Spencer's dad? I mean, I gotta know. You know what? Don't tell me. I'm gonna figure it out.
When you will. You will.
I kind of hope he's not, because he's getting real flirty with his daughter. It's like this is some like Luke and Leia shit going on right now. Like this is kind of gross, but yeah, it's very much a very much updated OC, if you will. You know, he comes from Crenshaw, and he getting to play with the Beverly Eagles. And I'm sorry, the Beverly Eagles could not hold the jock straps of the Dillon Panthers.
Oh, absolutely not.
But-
I mean, this is a very watered down version of OC and Friday Night Lights.
Right. It is pulling me in more this time. I will say I didn't give it a fair shot last time. I don't know what it was. I think it's also something that still bothers me is the music in it. The music, I don't know. It's not my style. It's very like pop friendly.
Hip-hop.
Yeah. Well, no, not hip hop. I love hip hop. It's just I don't know. It just seems like today's version of hip hop, I guess. Just very, I don't know. I'm not too in tune with the music, but the story I'm getting pulled in, and I think it's pretty good. I'll finish out because there's what, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, 2 seasons. Yeah, like 16 episodes. Man, it shouldn't be a problem because it's pretty good. But again, thank you, Chris, for the recommendation.
Yes.
All of
I think this is the first one that has went over okay with you.
Yeah.
I mean, my track record with you isn't great. Fat ass zombies, snake dick.
Snake dick was
All
pretty
American.
good. All 8 minutes of it.
So yeah.
And you gotta be careful with that, Chris. I feel like you take advantage of me because you know I will watch anything you recommend to me.
I mean, I know, and I don't know even how I come across some of these, dude. It's Instagram and some of the people I follow. Oh, I was in a new movie, Snake Dick. Check it out.
It's right up our alley.
Yeah.
I think it's a Jeremy's collection on the third rack over there.
Probably. All right. So on to our next segment. We really, really loved how Jeremy did headlines last time. So as his new role in his new job, Jeremy, on with the headlines, my friend.
Hey, I'm not getting paid for it.
You're fired.
You're getting paid
fired.
in Steven's love.
I know.
In our admiration.
That's right.
All right. Well, we got a few headlines. Starting off, we'll do some Warner Brothers headlines starting off. Have either of you heard when the possible release date for the Snyder Cut's going to be?
Last I heard was early March or March of 2021.
I think that's about what I heard, I think.
That's pretty close. A rumor came out saying March 25th.
Okay.
For part 1. And then it's going to be bi-weekly after that. So it's going to take up a month or 2 to get all 4 parts out.
That's cool with me because I'll watch that first part over and over.
You have to digest that first
right, because Zack Snyder's all about those Easter eggs, man. So
yeah,
I think by watching one part at a time is pretty good for me because I'll watch it over and over again.
Man, and I was this close to getting rid of my HBO Max subscription, but then I'm like, I can't because in March I need it.
Well, and Punky Brewster's coming back too, Chris.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
actually, that's
you'll
Peacock.
have to wait all of March if it's not coming out till the end of March.
That's all right. Better than a year.
This long,
right? Yeah.
Waited this long,
and really, you got to think March may be too soon, especially if they're doing new scenes. Still doing VFX,
Jeremy, if
changing
you
stuff.
are wishing that my movie get pushed back even further, I will stab you.
I mean, you just got to look at what they're doing compared to how much time is left.
So you're saying they're rushing it, right?
I don't know if this March thing is real. It could just be something in the wind that came out. Who knows? But
we'll see.
And something else Warner Brothers is wasting no time on. It looks like they're replacing Johnny Depp on the Fantastic Beasts movies fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're already in talks with Mads Mikkelsen to take it over.
100% approve of that choice.
And yeah,
not bad. I would say Jeremy would be a better replacement, but whatever.
Yeah, you're the perfect Grindelwald, Jeremy. Take that for what you will. I mean, what's wrong with bringing Colin Farrell back in? He already played him in the first one, and then he was apparently a disguise for the true image, which ended up being Johnny Depp. So it's like, well, just redisguise yourself and be Colin Farrell again. I guess because he's doing the Batman, probably he couldn't commit to the filming. But yeah, and you know, Mads Mikkelsen, I love him. I think he's a great choice for that. He's so he seems to fit that villainous dynamic very well, especially watching Hannibal. If you watch Hannibal, you can see that this guy is very qualified to do pretty much anything. And the movies that he's done, even in his native country in Denmark, the movies there are amazing. You know, The Hunt is a movie that is where he plays a teacher accused of sexually molesting a 5-year-old kindergarten student. I mean, it's just so horrible to watch because you feel so. I mean, he's wrongfully accused. You see everything, and you know where the complaints are coming from, so you know it's not him, but. Man, just his performance, and that's one of the best performances in the last 10 years, in my opinion. So I think he's a solid choice for that.
All right. And
sorry, I just like stopped.
I know, man. One other headline before I get into my final headline. The series Full House. When the opening credits start and you see that big house in the opening credits, that's Real House. And Jeff Franklin, the creator of the series, he bought that house, and he was going to turn that house into what actually it looked like in the series, but neighbors started complaining because that house, it's just a regular 4-bedroom house, but it's in the very posh, expensive neighborhood of San Francisco, and it's turned into a tourist attraction. So he was forced to sell it because the neighbors were constantly complaining, and he was like, fine, I'll sell it. It finally sold. I'll give you a guess on how much it sold for.
San Francisco?
Take into account San Francisco's real estate prices.
$10 million.
I was about to say 10 million, you bastard. $1.
Yeah, the Price is Right rules.
Chris would have won. 10 million was a little too much. $5.3 million.
Oh my god,
yeah, that sounds about right. I like to
it's
hear
just a 4-bedroom house.
Hey.
You know, it's funny about locations like that where people are, you know, they think that if you stop filming something there, that it's just going to stop people from going and looking at it. That's far from the case, considering. You know,
that
like
series
for example,
was never shot there. That was just the outside establishing shot.
Right. But to viewers, it doesn't matter. It's like Walter White's house in Albuquerque. The owner of the house has had to put up signs like restraining orders for people because they keep throwing. There's
keep throwing pizza on the roof. Right?
Yeah, like that's like one of the big scenes in Breaking Bad is Walter just getting so pissed. He throws his pie on the roof of his house. So you had people going to that house and launching their whole pies on top of the roof. So, and people clearly were like, look, this isn't the show. This is, you know, stop. So they had to call in so many restraining orders from people who kept doing that. But
that's hilarious.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. 5 million. Yeah.
I mean, if you're that house owner, just cut a hole in the roof and you get free pizza.
Right. That's
I
the
mean,
best hookup since you working at the pizza and
But it
Sam's.
could be rotten pizza.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
you're right. You're right. Look, your buddy Steve, Robin's Nest from Magnum PI. The owners put up a huge fence to keep people from seeing it.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
Oh yeah, but I mean, these people know going into this. I mean, I'm sure they were paid a certain amount of money for, visual rights or something like that. Like, your ass was gonna get it. Don't act like you're a victim. You
Right.
wanted the money, so I'm sure you signed off on it.
Because it's not like some underground show. Like Full House at the time was one of the biggest
Yeah.
hits of the 90s sitcom era, and it
Yeah.
still continues on to this day.
I was about to say, and with Fuller House coming back out, I mean,
Right.
it's a resurgence, and people nowadays are more likely to go to tourist attractions than they were back then, to me. And so, oh yeah, the resurgence of people wanting to go take selfies in front of that house. Oh,
Mhm.
come on, man.
And now you can understand why the neighbors in that Victorian neighborhood were complaining.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have complained. I'd have been like, this is the coolest shit ever. But hey, I don't have $6 million to spend on a house.
Yeah. All right. And the final headline I got.
Oh, hold on, Jeremy. I'm sorry. Are you doing the Disney thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I wanted to make a note before you got into that about just kind of some honorable mentions, if you will, for Sean Connery and Alex Trebek. Those were two big.
I forgot about that.
It's okay. I mean, we were like, oh yeah, let's put this together, and we kind of told Jeremy like an hour or so ago, like, hey, do headlines for us. By the way.
Yeah, I forgot about Trebek and Connery.
Two legendary icons in their own right. And I wanted to ask you guys, especially you, Jeremy, your thoughts on Dexter. Dexter's getting a mini series coming back on Showtime. Like, what are your thoughts on that before going into
Since it's the original showrunner, bring it on.
Yeah, I agree.
If he can fix the problems that it had the last 4 years, then bring it on.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to, I was dying to know what you thought about that.
Yeah.
Hey, and I want to interject before you do your final headline too. My bad, Jeremy. Just saying. Steven did it. I want to do it too. We need a tiny bit, a moment of silence for the two deaths that have occurred since we last recorded. Sean Connery and Alex Trebek. Icons in their own right. So rest in peace to both of them. And Highlander's the best Sean Connery movie there.
Oh, Chris.
Welcome to the Rock.
Spaniard. The Spaniard.
The Irish Spaniard Villalobos. Like, yeah, he looks like it to me. They darkened his skin, Chris. You should be offended by that.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too. I love that movie.
Welcome to the Rock.
Yeah, I love The Rock. I think The Rock is so good. But see, that's what we grew up with. My dad was like talking about Bond. I'm like, yeah, Pop.
Yeah.
Because that's who you grew up with. I grew up with you taking me to go see The Rock, and Sean Connery was awesome in it.
Yeah, Sean Connery was his Bond. Our Bond is Daniel Craig, Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, I think it starts with Brosnan for us. But I always thought that Sean Connery's character, there was this kind of myth or whatever that they said that the character he portrays is James Bond, that he was captured and his like the MI6 denied his his rights and credibility when he was captured. So he was just sitting in Alcatraz all this time, and then he breaks out. When I think of it like that, I consider The Rock as the greatest Bond movie ever made because it's incredible. And as a matter of fact, it comes out next year's its 25th anniversary. So I already have a
damn.
Yeah, I know. Not to like put a damper on it. We feel as old as Connery did in that movie.
Oh
But
God.
crap.
man, I
Jeez.
still think that The Rock is one of the all-time greatest action movies ever made. It is just a thrill ride. I love that movie so much.
And Nick Cage, Michael Bay. I mean,
Man, it just has it all. It has it all, dude. I love that. Nicolas Cage, he's just so Cage in that movie, dude. And I prefer him in that than in Con Air, because in Con Air he turns into like the badass super soldier marine, and I'm like, that's cool and all, but I like a frantic, maniacal, like nebbish Cage, like in The Rock. That's my bread and butter. But sorry, Jeremy, on to your final headline.
And before that,
Here's another
real quick. Who do you want to see take Alex Trebek's spot?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, it can't be Sean Connery.
Yeah, Sean Connery. I don't know, man. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, who should take over for him? I mean, who do you? I don't know.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. I said it has to be someone, because you don't need a lot of personality with Jeopardy.
No.
You have to be like.
What about the all-time winningest dude that from that show?
The guy that's won the most, right?
Yeah,
I would say
all
fine.
right.
I mean, because like you don't have to have that like exuberant energy that you need. Like I was thinking someone like Wayne Brady would be a good game show host, but Jeopardy isn't that type of
Very
game where you have where you have that loud personality. You're like an impact.
You're
Neil
just
Patrick
talking.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's I don't know. I think that's a
You
good.
sounded like the Quickie Mart guy just now.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'll get into Simpsons land, but
All right, Jeremy, your final headline.
The final headline, since we went way off the rails here.
That's what we do.
Okay. If you have any plans to ever go to Disney from now till probably time ends, this is how waiting in line at Disney is going to work. First, Disney has gone through and added "Please wait here" signs on the ground throughout all of their lines, though the markers continue until the very front of the ride. After you get off, there's an assumption the guests will be courteous and maintain their own social distancing. So there's that. And then the lines at Epcot, Magic Kingdom, and more, they're going to go in some weird directions. For example, the Buzz Lightyear Astro Blaster now has a line that crisscrosses through the Monsters, Inc. laugh floor, which is currently closed. Rise of the Resistance cuts past what seems to be an employee parking lot and behind a building. It says people mostly sort of follow the social distancing rules in line. You'll get some people like going over those markers and whatnot. It's saying the Disney cast members, they're doing a pretty good job of telling people to put their masks on if they pull them down. Eating in line is obviously banned. And it seems like there's a lot of effort being put in to make things as safe as possible. So if you're going to go to Disney, there you go.
Hey, but excuse me, not the corona. I can say this about lines at amusement parks, and Steven is going to touch on it a little bit as well. I just went to Six Flags we took the boys to Six Flags for Halloween. I mean, obviously not as big as Disneyland, but the lines for there were about the same, and I enjoyed it, dude. Like I hate crowds, and I hate being like next to people and having to do this and that. And
Yeah.
so the freedom and the space I loved. You still, I mean, to me, the time in line is still a shit ton. But um, being able to have breathing room is much better. So that's my take on amusement park lines.
My take was that I spent my vacation at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida this last week, and I have to tell you, they ran that thing like a well-oiled machine. You had markers set every 6 feet when you're waiting in lines. Before you even get on a ride, they give you a drop of hand sanitizer. So, and they're wiping down the seats, they're wiping down, as they're coming by, they do a quick wipe of everything. And of course, you have to keep your mask on throughout the entire time at the park. When you're walking, until you sit down and you're eating something, then you could take it off. But if you're walking, if you're in line, you must keep your mask on 100%, because they do have people coming by telling you, hey, pull your mask up. Just don't be that person. Just do it. It's not going to hurt you. And it worked perfectly fine. Every time we were inside, a lot of these rides are interactive rides, so you're indoors, and they skip seats. Sometimes there would be a whole row completely vacated where people would be, because they're trying to appeal to that, and it just worked out perfectly fine. And there were a lot of people there. They claim that it was I guess 70% capacity. I'm like, man, I'd hate to see 100%, because apparently it still could be more crowded than it was. And there was quite a lot of people there when we went. But overall, I thought the park, just getting into the park, I wanted to talk to you guys about it on this episode, because that place was something that appeals to us in so many ways, because it is a park. It's basically like a big movie theme park. You had Harry Potter World, Hogwarts, Diagon Alley, all these things that you go see. Even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, it's just so visually stimulating, because the production value and the set, the buildings, man, they, like, for example, the Hagrid roller coaster ride was one of the best coasters I've ever been on. Sonia told me they spent $300 million constructing that roller coaster. It's the most expensive roller coaster in history, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. And I was thinking about you guys a lot, because you had a Men in Black world, you had a Simpsons world, you have the Marvel world, and I know we're like DC friendly, and Chris, I love that Six Flags heavily promotes DC, but some of that stuff was just so great. And man, I wish you guys were there, because I was like, God, that Spider-Man ride, you would have loved it, Jeremy. And it's just such a great place. And when we went to Disney, I really enjoyed Disney, but man, Universal Studios was just more appealing to me because of the movie, the cinematic nature of it, the Mummy ride, the Transformers ride. It was just, it was so cool, man. And you would think, that sounds kind of lame. Yeah, not until you ride it. And it got me thinking about our episode tonight. I said, what would be some really cool movies that would make for really great either roller coasters or interactive coaster rides, or just, it kind of got my imagination flaring up, and I pitched it to you fellas, and of course you guys were game for it. But I just had to know, like, if it isn't already created, or if there's a variation of it, like, what are some movies that you guys would have loved to see turn into amusement park rides?
Oh man. And this is, to me, I'm actually still thinking. I'm like, there's a big chunk over here that I could think, and every time I think of one, I'm like, that's a good one, but they already have it,
right?
And so I'm gonna let y'all go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we're running out of time, and we're close to hitting that hour, so we're just gonna start spewing instead of going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So just go ahead and take control, y'all. Just spit out what y'all think, and I will interject when I think of mine.
Personally, I will start off with saying that I thought like you could have rides that, like a Die Hard ride where it's Nakatomi Tower, and you can either just like drop down like a Superman Tower of Terror type of a deal. I think that would be kind of fun. I thought of like a Tim Burton land, but like more specifically like an Edward Scissorhands ride where you go through like Edward's castle and it's like a roller coaster and it turns into the the neighborhood or something like that. Just things like that. And watching the Transformers, I thought, how could this be a ride? And then you watch it, and it's so interactive. You put like 4D glasses on, you're just like, oh my god, this is incredible. And much like the Mummy ride, I was thinking of something like that. And my thought was like Independence Day, where you're flying around and you're trying to drive through, like, I don't know. There's just so many options for rides. But the one that Sonia even helped me with the idea of it was a Goonies ride. Because when you think about it, the Goonies would make for a good ride because it could start off with like a Fratelli car chase scene. Then it could end up in the into the restaurant where they're going through the restaurant, and then of course it can end in like a water ride where you're going down, like when they were in the water slide, something like that. But I mean, I'll finish mine off real quick by saying the Lord of the Rings. The fact that someone hasn't produced not just a Lord of the Rings ride, but like a Lord of the Rings world altogether, kind of like something similar to Harry Potter. Because I know in New Zealand they have like Hobbiton, and you can visit like locations of where they shot, but there's nothing that's like a theme park specific to Lord of the Rings. And I thought, man, you can make multiple rides off of Lord of the Rings. And
could you though?
Absolutely, man.
3 movies of people walking.
Oh yeah, listen to this guy.
Well, everybody gets on a treadmill.
Yeah, that's perfect. Just put on 4D glasses and you're like walking through Middle Earth. No, but like you can have like a ride where you're running through the Battle of Elm's Deep, and you can have a ride where you're like on the barrels through the water. Dude, there's so many possibilities for that. And oh yeah, Stephen Eford says Snowpiercer. That would be awesome. Like a bullet train. Like that could be a coaster. That could be all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I was thinking about Lord of the Rings. I was like, yeah, you could have so many rides with this. You could ride on trees. You can do all kinds of stuff. Ride on the eagles, like an eagle fly. I mean, you're kind of crossing into the Hobbit territory too. But I don't know. Like, what did you guys think? Did you have any ideas?
Go ahead, Jeremy.
I got this is kind of it would be more of like it's not a ride. It would be more like a VR environment type thing that you go into. Rocky. And you do it like Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Oh, that's cool. Like you just stand there and box with them and stuff.
Yeah, you get to box.
That sounds pretty good.
Right.
You know what I was thinking too was like Top Gun would make for a really cool ride.
That'd be fun.
But then I thought about it, and do you guys remember at Six Flags when they had the right stuff where you would go in there and you would sit and it's kind of like very much like Universal, how they laid their rides out. You sit in the seat and it's like you're in the plane
and it turns and
and you're like flying and you're that kind of like an update of that, but with Top Gun, I think would be pretty cool. Yeah, my friend Bo says Goonies a la Pirates of the Caribbean like ride. Yeah, that starts with that. I don't know, man. I just think that I really wanted to see the Fast and the Furious ride too, because I thought that would have been kind of cool. Like you're in a car chase, but it was close, so there was really nothing I could do about that.
You could do a Ghostbusters ride.
Yeah, I think that would be fun too. And I mean, there's just so many things that you can do, but I guess licensing is always a pain in the ass. But
yeah,
I don't know. Sonny was telling me that they had a Kung Fu Panda ride in California's Universal Studios, so we got stuck with Shrek and Minions. So which are still pretty fun. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all. But yeah, man, the Mummy ride. For as bad as those movies ended up looking, that ride sure was fun, man. It was pretty awesome. Jeremy, it was like the Runaway Mountain in Six Flags. Like you're inside, it's dark, but then it's got like a story with it. And Kong, the King Kong ride, Skull Island, shoot. We gotta go. We gotta plan a trip. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe for my 40th birthday.
Yeah, I'll take you. That's coming up though, isn't it, Chris?
Shut the hell up, dude. stab you right now.
It's still
Okay.
2 years away.
2 years, about a year and a half now.
Yeah.
All right, we'll finish this up strong, Chris. What's your ride?
What my ride, and it's inspiration from your hat.
Oh, okay.
A Cobra Kai ride. It's a really snaky
I like roller
type of
coaster.
coaster, you know?
Okay, yeah, that works.
Cool.
I thought you just go in a room and get your ass whipped or something.
Yeah, you know, that too.
That
And
could work.
see, I'm thinking, you know, when you put the straps on, they look
Mhm.
like karate belts and
Yeah.
and shit like that. I mean, I think it'd be
gi.
kind of cool, you know?
Yeah,
like a
why
gi.
not? I think I could see a Cobra Kai
And
coaster.
and if you survive the coaster at the end, you get a bonsai tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say a black belt, but that's way more expensive, but better. Yeah.
I'll take the tree.
See?
I'll plant the tree.
And then a Super Mario Brothers
Okay.
world type of ride, I would think would be pretty cool. And then I think my brain went dead after that.
A Battlefield Earth ride.
Yeah, that. Oh, God. A Fifth Element ride.
Yes. We're
Yes.
in a taxi. That's perfect.
Yeah, you're driving the
The
taxi.
taxi through that busyness.
Oh,
I think that's
shit.
great. See, Chris, it's firing, and I knew you were a closeted Fifth Element fan altogether. But
Oh, man.
I don't know. I think that anything could really be made into a ride if they were paid the right amount of money to do
Yeah.
so.
Oh, look at this. Smokey and the Bandit. At the end of you're forced to drink some Coors.
Yeah, that's good.
That's the end of the Cobra Kai ride, too.
Yeah. And then it also turns into like Dukes of Hazzard. Like anytime that there was a popular car in the 80s, like Knight Rider, you could have a
Yeah.
Knight Rider car. My friend Bo also says a Robin Williams theme ride. He goes, sorry, I just love Robin Williams so much. But I mean, yeah, he played like Aladdin, the genie. That would be awesome.
Or
A Patch
Cool.
Adams ride.
Hook. Peter
Hook,
Pan.
yeah. Well, they have a Peter Pan in Disney, but
Hmm.
I mean, it's like a kind of kiddie-ish. you
Yeah.
know?
It's like the animated Peter Pan.
Or
Right.
I would
see,
say.
update it and it be one of those roller coasters where you lay down and
Yeah.
it's like you're actually flying.
That would be cool. Totally. Yeah, but Hook, I think Hook is more specific to that. That would be sweet,
Yeah.
though. I don't know, man. There's just so many.
There are a lot of things that you could adapt to rides, especially with the technology now,
Mhm.
being able to submerge yourself in any type of world with VR.
Yeah.
It would just be, I mean, the ideas are endless. And
Well, you know, it's funny because, like, with the Avatar, like, a lot of people who don't even care for the movie say that the Avatar rides at Disney are just amazing. And
Mhm.
I'm
so
sure
fun to
they
look at.
are.
But yeah, but you're right, Chris. I think with just the innovate, well, like for example, I saw the Bourne Stuntacular. It was the Bourne Stunt Show. I thought, how are they going to do that? They had this massive screen that it was like, it looked so realistic, the backdrop, and they had live sets kind of mixed in with the backdrop. And how they did that was just incredible, man. It looked like you were watching a Bourne movie, and the guy playing Bourne had a mask on the whole time. So I was like, well, that kind of takes you out of this story a little bit. But, you know, safety first. I was like, but he's hiding out. You know, I that's how I interpreted it.
That's awesome. Dude, and from all the pictures that Sonia has posted, you know, you say there was a lot of people there, dude, but in the pictures, it seems like there's nobody there.
Well, yeah, Sonia's really good with her pictures where we'll get into a position where people have migrated to a certain area. So me and the kids are having to like haul ass to get into position to get the perfect shot. So it's like it's somewhat, there were some areas that were a little bit desolate, and you know, we not to sound snobby or snooty, but we had the express passes where we got in an hour earlier.
Oh, you're so posh.
I know, brother. But luckily with that, we were able to ride everything because I said, look, this is the one time we're gonna get to go. Let's splurge for the express pass where you get to the front of the line. But of course, like Hagrid, you had to wait. So, but with going in a little earlier, we just went to that first and then knocked it out. But yeah, I mean, she was really great about getting those pictures, and it was funny because like the kids would even say like, okay, we got the pictures today, so let's just ride the rides. Okay. Sonya's like, oh yeah, okay, of course. Get over there and stand there and get this picture and look happy.
And it looked like taking the pictures with the characters, they had to stay behind like a fence, huh?
Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like the only time that the kids got to actually stand up with the character was a picture that I have that I haven't even posted mine yet, but they got with Optimus Prime because it's in a suit. You know, they're so that was okay. But yeah, you had to stand in front of a guardrail while the character was behind you a little bit. But you know, it's better than nothing, I guess. And we got another ride recommendation from Bo. He says, how about Big Trouble in Little China, where you ride on the truck with good old Jack Burton?
There you go.
And that is the Pork Chop Express for clarification. But yeah, that would be pretty good. I don't know. And like, I don't know, like horror movies too. Like, but I guess haunted houses kind of take care of that more than actual rides. So the horror genre doesn't really fit too well into that. But
I don't know. We have a horror ride at our local Wonderland. I mean, the Fantastic Journey.
Is that still up?
Dude, that is still up.
Dude.
Of course it is.
That like warms my heart to hear.
It's rickety. It's old.
You know, people have died in there.
Oh,
too.
I'm sure.
I'm sure some of the fake bodies that are hanging in there are real.
And I'm sure many people have lost their virginity in there as well. So,
of course. Just think that seat you're sitting on.
They did the old. You remember that scene in Fear where Mark Wahlberg's like,
"Oh man, no."
On
the Ferris wheel? Oh no.
I'm like, God, that's rough, man. That's not even a smooth ride. It's like, have some class, bro.
No joke.
But dude, the Fantastic Journey, man, I cannot believe that is still up. I love that though. I love the fact that they keep old rides too, because
you can't afford new ones.
Right. Well, at Universal, they still had E.T. Like Sonia said, that's the original E.T. that they made in the 80s. And it's still it's still there. And we rode that bastard like 3 times. I loved it. Dude, it made me feel like a little kid again riding that old
kind of ride is it?
You sit on bikes. It's kind of like you go
sit
through
on bikes and you power it the ride yourself.
You're powering the ride yourself. But it takes you through like you're riding the bike with Elliot. But the cool thing about it is that it ends up you go to E.T.'s homeland, and it was pretty neat. I love that ride. But yeah, and then she told me like Jaws is gone. You know, the original King Kong was gone. Back to the Future was gone. So like all of these rides that I grew up wanting to ride were all gone except for E.T. So I was pretty excited for that one. But man, I can't believe the Fantastic Journey is still up. Man, Wonderland, like, have they even made any new rides there?
There's a couple, but I mean, dude, it's time to be put to pasture, bro.
That or just expand it, just build around more property on Thompson.
There's no more land. There is no more. I mean,
I think what is it? The Pipeline Plunge was the newest ride since I lived there.
That some bitch still going too.
It's still there.
And it's still leaking like it always has.
Yeah.
Bolts are starting to fall off those pipes.
Yeah.
But what is it? The Texas Tornado too, man. That was the
big coaster. Yeah.
That one loop, or does it have 2?
Yes, 2.
Okay, yeah.
2 really crappy ones. But
good old Wonderland, man. That was shit. Oh man,
yeah, shit. You're right.
I mean, that's not what I meant, but
especially what they charge to get into that place now.
Yeah, they really value their theme park there. I was spoiled. My dad living in Dallas because he got his season passes to Six Flags, so he like ruined me in Wonderland like early on in my life. my poor mom's like, you want to go to Wonderland? I'm like, hell no, I got 6 Flags season passes. I'll wait till I see my dad again.
I went to Six Flags once, and I was like, I'm never going to Wonderland again.
I mean, it's pretty. I mean, look at Chris. Chris just took his whole family to Six Flags. I don't see him posting pictures at Wonderland.
No.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just okay. Before we like close off, like, and I know that, but we're talking kind of amusement park rides. But do you guys prefer like thrill ride coasters or kind of interactive rides where there's like a visual story to it? Boy, I really put all the thinking here tonight.
Well, no, I was gonna let Jeremy go first because I have a thing about this. And
okay,
I kind of like coasters more than anything.
Yeah,
but if we did a movie thing, I like that Nakatomi Tower idea thing.
Yeah,
where it's like a flume ride.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sitting in a log, but you're sitting in an elevator car.
Okay.
And you just slowly go up 36 stories.
Yeah,
and it's
36.
36.
Pee yourself.
People are
And
gonna get sick.
as you slowly go up, it's telling you the story. And then you creep out onto the edge, and then one final loud line, yippee-ki-yay, and then it lets go and you fall.
I'm glad you left the last part out.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't think any kid would be allowed to ride it.
Yeah,
but you just yippee-ki-yay and let it go.
So I think like more. So basically, my thought was the Tower of Terror in Disney, but just updated all around for Nakatomi and Die Hard. So yeah, that I would ride that for sure.
So here's my deal. And this goes back to a story we talked about in my brain and concussions that were occurred my senior year of high school. Dude, I cannot ride rides.
Yeah,
I get so motion sickness so bad. I mean, even like the pirate ship rides where it just goes swings back and forth.
Oh, I hate those.
Dude, it sends me into like I can't walk. I'm so nauseous. So I hate all rides.
right.
I like to watch The Boys, and Tasha loves thrill rides, dude.
Mhm.
The more twisty, turny, the better, and she loves them. And another thing about me and rides is I'm a big dude, and not all the time there's a little shit click. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know how embarrassing it is to be like, sir, you can't run on this ride and don't click. It don't click enough, man. And I'm
They're
like,
not made for the big boys.
They're not. And that's some bullshit because you know what? As a society, we're some big fat fuckers. Okay? And they need to make these rides to where it'll click on some flub.
That's what the ride would be called. Yeah,
so,
it is mainly just us Americans that are overweight. Really, everyone else in the world is fine.
Everybody's riding all those. There was a guy on the Gringotts ride at Universal. Man, he was a big dude, Chris. Like he was real big, and I felt bad for him because he couldn't get it to click, like you said. And they had to ask the guy to get off the ride, and man, I felt so bad for that dude because his wife, his kids were there, and I'm just like, oh, that poor guy, man. He's like, not only is he humiliated, but he can't even experience this with his family. I just thought, oh, that's terrible. I felt so bad for him.
For us big people, like we have to plan these vacations years in advance so we can lose weight. Because you don't want to be the guy that says, sir, you only did one click, you need 2 clicks, sir. You did 1 click, you need 2 clicks. And it's like, man, just give me a click, man. I just 1 click, bro. I mean,
get your 1 click ass off this ride, sir.
But man, it sucks, but hey, I'd rather eat fried chicken every day than ride a roller coaster. So it is what it is.
That's true. Just plan it out. That's hilarious, man. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's pretty true.
You don't think about it because you're skinny, and Jeremy's skinny, so you've never had the experience of getting kicked off.
Man, I feel bad, Chris. I apologize. Like you've missed out on some awesome rides, bro.
Dude.
But I mean,
we're gonna end this before I start crying right now.
This episode just got real emotional. Like Chris just unloaded on us. See, this is what's good about our show. It's a very therapeutic series we have here.
Cathartic.
Very cathartic. Well done.
All right. So on that note, we're gonna wrap up tonight. Guys, anything else before we sign off here?
Just do your cardio before going to any theme parks, I guess.
Yes, please. Don't
get
make
your walking shoes on.
Man, with our Apple, with our watches, it records your health data. And I just, out of curiosity, every day we were at Universal, we walked 7 to 8 miles, dude.
I would understand it.
And it's so funny because like Sonia and I have been walking on the bridge every day, but I do like maybe 2 miles. And she's like, you see, at Universal, we walked 8 miles. I'm like, that's over the span of a 10-hour day where we're like taking breaks in between. I'm not about to walk 8 miles right now. Like, you're going to kill me.
Dude, my watch was all like, sir, did you give your watch to somebody else?
We have reported a theft and calling the police.
Because this shit don't happen.
Right. No, but yeah, I'm just glad we're back, fellas. I hate when we take our long sabbaticals, if you will, in between episodes, but it's just how it is. And now that things are kind of swinging up, employment wise, I guess, and just all things going on, and I'm going to be going back to school, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, we'll still have time for the episode because I just love doing it so much. I love recording with you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
And
apparently it's therapy for me, so I need to.
Right, you learn a lot about yourself.
Steven saying he's going back to school, man. There's a new school coming into Amarillo, School of Film, with Sharpen Iron Studios, and I'm seriously thinking about jumping in and being one of the first classes that goes through there. So,
have they released a curriculum yet?
Not yet. I mean, it's still like in the very beginning stages. They just released messages and social media posts that the president of AC and Sharpen Iron Studios has signed the contract for all this to happen and stuff. So it's going to happen. Maybe a little bit, but hey.
I highly encourage that idea. I wish that when we graduated high school 5 years ago, that they had a program at Amarillo College for film, because I mean, really the only thing they had were broadcast communications, but all that really does is just kind of give you a backdrop of, like a news studio and radio, and nothing what we specialize or want to specialize in. So it's like you had to go to Dallas, which is what I had to do. I had to go to Dallas if I wanted to study film. But man, the fact that that's become available to people in Amarillo is just so great. And man, a lot of people will be real. Like, I just hope that people realize like what a big deal that I know you do, Chris, because you live there, but like young, like high school graduates, the opportunity to be able to study film in their hometown at a much more affordable rate with Amarillo College and get the same certification is just that's still like a dream to me, man.
And I got to take a tour of where all this is going to be built and everything, and they were showing us, and they one of the coolest, the most amazing things about this program coming in is that when you sign up and you pay your tuition, you don't just get to take the classes. They give you a kit that's yours. So if you're going in to be a cinematographer, they give you a camera, they give you an iPad, they give you all the things to make a movie,
right?
To shoot a movie, and it's yours to keep. And the iPad comes with all the software downloaded that you'll ever need to do the edits and do all that, and then they teach you how to use it, and then so then once you're done, it's like, all right, you have all the tools, go do you.
Well, and another thing about that is that 15 years ago when I was in film school, it was like the advancements in technology just allow for so much more, capability of creating. Like Soderbergh he filmed his last 3 movies on an iPhone. The Academy Award winning director Steven Soderbergh filmed his last 3 films on an iPhone.
Yep.
Like that's how advanced technology is these days. And for that availability, it's just, man, these young kids are so lucky. Like I just can't stress that enough. Just how advanced we've become in technology. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I walk into this class, they're going to be like, "Are you the teacher?" No.
You should act like the teacher.
Yes.
Like, set the precedent. But I thought that too. I was like, shit, I'm going into this school and it's a lot of people are, high school graduates and stuff. I'm gonna feel like freaking Billy Madison in there, man. But it is what it is. It's just, and Sonia works there at that school, so she was telling me, she's like, it doesn't matter. People of all ages are going back to school now, especially. Like, I think there was a report that said there's been an influx in people over the age of 30 going back to school just because of the way things
nothing
are.
else to do at home.
Well, that, and like I can do a lot of the stuff that I'm training to do. It's just I don't have certification, so until I get that certification, I can't get jobs doing it. So I think that it's awesome. I can't wait. Then I can move back to Texas.
Yeah. Come back to Amarillo and be a professor here.
Yeah, at the film school, huh?
Yeah,
That'd be sweet.
And it's cool. The Shannon Doherty's dad is the person that is funding this whole thing. He's the president and CEO of Sharp and Iron Studios.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that.
So it's got a big name behind it.
Yeah, there's name value there. That's always good.
Yep.
All
right. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us. I know we went a little over time because we went off on some tangents tonight, but that's what happens when it is a couple of weeks since we record. But guys, thank you so much for sticking along with us. Wherever you're listening to us, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, guys, thank you. And since you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and then also go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. That just helps the podcast get seen a lot more around the searches and everything like that. And speaking of searches, if you search us on Facebook or Instagram, Screen Addicts Podcast, you'll find our pages there. And then search the Screen Addicts Fanatics group page and ask to join that group. That is where we are most active and most engaged with all of our fans and listeners. We will drop what we're going to be recording about. We'll drop trailers, memes, all the funny stuff is on that group page. So go ahead and join that. And then if you're on the Twitter machine as well, go ahead and look up the Screen Addicts. And Addicts is spelled ADDICS. And we also have a local celebrity within us 3 on Twitter, and that is Jeremy. Jeremy has all the followers. So if you want to go follow this man on Twitter, what is the handle, Jeremy?
At Jeremy Marshall, Jermie, and Marshall spelled like Marshall.
Awesome. And then, you know what? We also got another local celebrity on Instagram, old Cinema Steve.
Yeah.
Brother, what is that Instagram handle, my man?
That Instagram handle is at cinema_Steve.
And if you want to make sure you stay up to with movie news and business, he is the man to follow for sure. Anyway, guys, thanks again for joining us tonight. As for me, good night.
Adios, amigos.
Good evening.